Welcome to SIC 2015, ISG's annual Sourcing Industry Conference, the premier event for global service providers and law firms. I'm Sonia Van Sickle. More than 200 industry professionals have gathered here in Dallas for this two-day conference to discuss and debate how digitization is transforming the global services industry. Today, I will be speaking with Todd Lavieri, President of ISG Americas, Australia and New Zealand, and Harvey Gluckman, Partner, ISG Americas. Todd, today in your opening address, you challenged the audience to think differently, to ask new and different questions when it comes to planning their future. Why is that so important?
You know, things change so rapidly. I always challenge our audiences to read headlines of today and think about what they would have looked like 5 years ago. Companies and businesses, consultants, advisors all need to really understand what's beneath the covers. What are the questions to ask and the insights that you have to start to understand why things are moving where they're moving, because they're moving rapidly and you don't want to be behind.
History is filled with examples of businesses that missed the boat, if you will, on the next big thing, and they allowed upstart companies to sort of eat their lunch, if you will. So why do you think that is, and why is it so hard to be truly innovative?
You know, startups have a couple of advantages. Number one, they're not constrained by org charts. Number two, they're not constrained by history. They are working every day towards whatever it is, the vision is that they have. You know, people often say Google it wasn't predicting Google. Uber wasn't predicting Uber. What they were doing is every day working on something that allowed them to take whatever their idea was to the next level.
In the last 5 years, we've seen a tremendous advance in technology. Things that were previously unimaginable, as you say, are now possible. Where do you see technology heading, and how is it going to impact the work and our lives in the future?
Yeah, there's so many trends. I don't know where to start. I would say cognitive computing, this is a big deal. Many people have seen this in Watson. They're talking about being able to, within 5 years, buying a computer for $1,000 that, in essence, does all the functioning of a human brain and has all the knowledge that there is to have. You can't open up a newspaper, a magazine, an article, listen to a speech these days and not hear someone predict the rise of the machines, the rise of the robots, the notion that so much work will be automated in the future.
So what would you say are the biggest challenges the global services industry faces today?
You know, global service industries still have to innovate every day. They're right with their clients, working to solve problems, find solutions, and they've got to be on the edge of innovation, listening to what those clients really need, making sure that they're asking the right questions, not being constrained by org charts, and solving those problems, delivering value for their clients every single day.
Harvey, we hear an awful lot about digitization. Now, what exactly does that mean, and how is it going to affect business in the next, say, 5 years?
Yeah, so digital is a very large word in our industry, but it's really boiled down to really 6 basic concepts. If we think about social media, analytics, automation, Internet of Things, mobility, and cloud.
Well, and you just mentioned this buzz phrase, the Internet of Things. Now, what does that mean, and how is that going to affect business and life in the future?
So Internet of Things is really, if you think about it, from about 15 years ago, you used to hear about RFID. And that was probably the first wave of what Internet of Things became. But as the progression of the technologies, it's going to now really affect human behavior. So you'll have smart devices, you'll have smart people. You could see the next evolution occurring today in the Fitbit technology wave. And probably the wave tomorrow will be more on, smart refrigerators, smart hospitals, smart energy consumption. So what's important about that is it's actually just bringing the consumers closer to the supply chains of the representative industries that we all serve.
So what are the biggest challenges, would you say, that service providers face today?
I think the biggest challenge that most service providers are facing, it's really being able to differentiate themselves from their competitors. If you look at 20 years ago, the ecosystem of competitors was fairly small, but today that market has exploded because of the digital and the Internet of Things within the last 5 years, and that ecosystem has grown to at least 500 different types of suppliers. And as a result, that's actually causing many companies to buy point solutions because they're buying the best of the best. And many of the legacy companies are having faces and challenges because they can't be the best of the best because there's only limited dollars of investment. So they really got to pick and choose and really figure out where the big bets are going to hit.
So what must they do to respond to the new technological demands of their customers?
Think like the Jetsons. Think big or go home. They really need to start thinking through, their own innovation labs and their product and engineering labs and working with customers to really figure out what the next stage or the next maturity model of Internet of Things, or what is the next phase of digital.
So if you had one word of advice to give service providers today, what would that be?
Use ISG.